Coming into 2021, a new year means a new shed season, and quite frankly, that's one of my favorite times of the year. First thing in March, my dad and I are out, and I ended up finding the biggest set of antlers that I've ever found, and I also found the most sheds that I've ever found.
Oh my goodness, that's the deer I call Big John. Oh, that's the deer I call Big John.
So as I saw him coming through the branches, I knew that this was going to be, a big buck.
Just shot the biggest buck of my life. Oh my gosh, he is huge.
You're watching Victory Outdoors, proudly presented by Xpedition Archery.
Coming into 2021, a new year means a new shed season, and quite frankly, that's one of my favorite times of the year. First thing in March, my dad and I are out, and I ended up finding the biggest set of antlers that I've ever found, and I also found the most sheds that I've ever found.
I just walked.
I didn't walk up on it yet, but that's a nice antler. Well, I can see it I saw it from a little ways away, and I actually walked past it yesterday, and I think I might have the left side to this antler, and if I do, it looks like it. Oh boy. Oh yeah, and the G2's there. I have the other side to this antler. Oh my gosh. Let's go. Surely it is a shed. Found this guy. I was turning around leaving because the turkeys didn't cooperate. Found this guy. Good morning, I'd say. A couple months later, I started getting trail cameras out, and I started right off the bat getting pictures of some great bucks and what looked to be great bucks. All right, guys, it is May 30th, and I'm back on the spot that I found a massive set of sheds this last shed season. It's real early, but I'd like to see what the bucks are going to look like this year and just get a head start this year rather than the late start. So we're gonna get this over some pay dirt from white gold, and hopefully get some big bucks this year. So fingers crossed. So.
This segment is brought to you by HuntStand.
Throughout the summer, I had several trail cameras put out, and I decided that it'd be good to put some mineral or some attractant on some of them, and I put some pay dirt from white gold, and I also put out some gold dust this year. And lo and behold, that was one of the best decisions I've made. And I had some great trail cam photos of some great bucks this year. On one specific farm, I had several bucks, and I had to kind of weed through them and pick out which ones that I had wanted to chase. And there were two that stuck out to me, and my number 2, I actually named him Big John. He had a big body, and I actually named him after my buddy's uncle that also hunts the farm. And he was very nocturnal, and he showed up here and there, you know, throughout the summer and through velvet. And lo and behold, he lost his velvet, and he started showing up first thing in the morning. And soon enough, he started showing up in daylight, and I was starting to get pumped.
October 10th, and I'm in the saddle with my good friend Alan. This morning, right before 7 o'clock, I got a picture of one of my shooters on camera going through here, so I decided with a cold front sneaking ahead that we need to go get the stand because there's a good chance he'll come through here tonight. So. October 15th here in Iowa, and I'm on a farm that I haven't been on since last year. And tomorrow starts early muzzleloader, so I'll be doing that this year also. So I'll be muzzleloader hunting after today until I think the 24th, so maybe we'll get it done tonight.
This segment is brought to you by Element Outdoors.
So early muzzleloader finally gets here, and I decided that I was going to try and hunt the same tree that I actually killed my archery buck the year prior to this year. And it seemed like every time I hunted that I was getting winded by does, no matter what the wind was. And every time I got winded, it was the right wind. But I was getting winded and I was getting aggravated, so I decided that it was time that, you know, I moved where I was sitting. And since I was saddle hunting this year, that just made a world of difference. You know, I was mobile, and it just made a world of difference for me. So I could move wherever I wanted, and it was easy and light. So that's what I took up to doing. But I decided I was going to wait a couple of days. The weather was supposed to get better. We're supposed to get a strong wind, and I was going to go in before a storm and cold front came in, and I was going to try to knock one out. October 21st rolled around, and just happened to be that a big cold front was coming in, and we had strong wind gusts that day, and I just knew that it was going to be a good day to be in a tree. So I got in the tree and got set up about 4 o'clock, and it was just, the wind just seemed to pick up more and more as we went on.
It is October 21st, and it's chilly. It feels good. Got a strong northwest wind tonight. It's just flowing perfect. The deer won't be able to smell me. It's just a perfect scenario. I'm in a beautiful tree. It was kind of a pain in the rear, but we're in it, and it's a nice little spot. But my camera died yesterday on this farm, and it's a ways back here. And I was like, I guess I better go check that out. So I get here, and the camera that died has a scrape in front of it. I knew the scrape was there, but there's fresh tracks in it, so who knows? Could be one of my A-listers, maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, I got a good feeling that tonight's the night, so I'm gonna stick with it, stick through these strong gusts of wind. Hopefully it pays off, so.
The closer to the evening that we got, I didn't see hardly any deer, and I just was getting discouraged. And finally, it was coming, I don't know, probably had an hour or 45 minutes till it was going to be, dark. And I knew that if I was going to get a crack on one, it was going to have to be fast. And sure enough, I was looking off behind me and just kind of lollygagging around, checking out the couple does behind me, and out of the corner of my eye, I see something, and I swing my head around and look, pull up my binoculars, and there, just right in front of me, 30 yards, was Big John. I stood up, tried turning my camera to him, and I noticed that my camera had auto turned off, which I did not know. So I had to turn it off and turn it back on, which ultimately was scaring me because the deer was almost out of my frame, almost out of where I could shoot him. He was about to catch, my wind. And I turned the camera on, got on him, made sure I was recording, put the crosshairs right behind the shoulder, and let him have it.
BBD. Oh my goodness, that's the deer I call Big John. Oh, that's the deer I call Big John. I've got velvet and non-velvet photos of him. And he just comes in right here beside me, and I just drilled him. Oh, he caught me off guard. Let's go.
All right, so I got some of my friends, or I guess I went and got my dad, my cousin, his girlfriend in town. We're gonna go walk down and we're gonna check out the deer. Freaking toad. What a buck. Well, here he is, guys. This is the deer I named Big John. Actually, I have a lot of trail cam photos of this buck, and I watched him all summer, and I saw him a couple times during early season on camera, but never in person until tonight. I was pretty happy to have one down before, November rolled around, and it just so happened that I had a good one down, and I had a bow tag in my pocket still, so I was ready to get back out there and get after him with my bow.
This segment is brought to you by Reveal by Tacticam.
So with me having a tag pun, so I decided I wanted to be a good teammate and try to get behind the camera for one of the other guys. In this case, just so happened to be for Ty. So one specific encounter that Ty and I had, actually had a nice 8-pointer come out, and we watched him for a while, and he ended up coming, come across the fence, and he was just right out of range, and he ended up staying away, and he followed a group of does, and we watched him just walk away. So shortly after that encounter, I actually got permission on another farm, just a small little farm, and it looked great. I went in, and on my first sit, I actually had a great encounter with a buck. He came right up to the fence where there were some leaves, and I couldn't see him when he got to the fence, and he just disappeared. Went out of my sight, and I had to watch him doze, and I just concluded that evening. So me being me, I decided that I was going to knock on another farmer's door and see if I could hunt their land as well. And sure enough, it was a yes. And I decided to get in there early one evening. We had another cold front coming in. It was going to be good. And I didn't have any other really good spots to hunt a north wind, so.
All right, it is October 31st. It is Halloween. All right. I've heard a lot of people say this is the best night to kill, so hopefully that's right. I'm on a new piece I just got permission on today, and it looks good. I got a scrape right to the left of me, and I got some rubs up the trail to the left, to the right, and then I've got big cornfield right in front of me, and it kind of wraps around, and then there's a ditch, and then there's another timber to the north. So we got an even cold front coming in, so hopefully this puts some big mature bucks on their feet. So keeping our fingers crossed for a big one.
So actually my first, half hour of sitting in the tree, I caught something out of the left corner of my eye, and I looked over, and here comes, a small buck was moving through the ditch, and I gave it some grunts. I wanted to get some footage and kind of see what this buck was, and he actually came right up and started hitting that scrape that was right in front of me. After the small buck came in, I sat there, and I decided that I was going to do some rattling and be vocal, and I actually rattled, and I waited about a half hour, and I rattled again, and nothing happened. It was just real windy. So another half hour went by, and I decided that this time I was really going to give it everything, because it was probably the last time I was going to be, vocal again. So I rattled and rattled for a good minute and a half, and right away I hear something running through the ditch. So as I saw him coming through the branches, I knew that this was going to be, a big buck. I flipped the camera around, and as soon as I had it rolling on it, I drew back, and bam, he came right to the scrape and just started to demolish it. For a good while, I was at full draw, and I was just thinking, turn, turn. Well, finally, he obliged.
Oh my gosh, he is huge.
So after that, I made a lot of phone calls and sent a lot of Snapchats to some good friends. And Ty Green was actually the first responder to this. He actually came out and he filmed the recovery. I almost couldn't find my arrow, and it was actually dug down into the ground pretty well, and it was just covered in blood. So I started walking, and where I thought the deer might have went, into the ditch a little ways, it actually came out. So I was kind of looking where there wasn't blood, and then I got directed in the right way, and I looked up, and bam, there was a white belly right in front of us. He'd only went about 30 or 35 yards.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy smokes, that is a big buck. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That is a stud.
Reflecting on the season, I just can't help but think that it's been an incredible, one-of-a-kind season, and I couldn't be more grateful. I just hope to keep the streak going and maybe do the same thing next year.